If you haven't already done so, close your eyes down and begin taking some nice, deep breaths. And if you like, on the exhales, you can imagine letting go of anything that's been on your mind, anything that's happened so far today, or anything coming up later, allowing yourself to take this time free of all of that. And continuing to breathe deeply, just begin now taking a listen for any sounds that you can pick up on. Just noticing whatever is taking place in your environment. Tuning in to the obvious sounds, but also taking a listen for anything subtle, anything distant, whatever you can observe. Now I'm asking you to take a listen for sounds because as people enter into an altered state, they can often be more aware of sounds in the environment than they would have been in the waking state. By taking some time off the top to observe the sounds that are taking place, you'll find that you're nicely able to leave them in the background, able to focus on my voice and your own experience, and let everything else be unimportant for now. And so along the same lines, just make a mental list of any sounds that could take place while you're doing this session. The sounds that are normal or expected for your environment that aren't happening currently but might at some point. Now again, by taking some time off the top to consider the sounds that could take place, you'll find that if they do, you're able to leave them in the background. The exception to this would be an emergency sound, or a sound that you feel you must respond to. Should there be something like that, you can remove yourself from the session just by opening your eyes. And so keeping them closed, take some time now to get a sense of the space that you're in. Just see what you remember of the room. Maybe getting a sense of the size or shape of the room, the layout of the furniture, maybe locating a window, a closet, or a door. Maybe you can even imagine moving over to the window and looking outside, recalling or imagining the view. And because this process requires you to use your memory or imagination, both of which reside in your subconscious mind, just settling in a bit more. And now bring your attention in closer, this time noticing the furniture that you're resting upon. Just noticing what it feels like beneath you or behind you. Noticing if the cushion seems soft or firm or somewhere in between. Maybe getting a sense of what that piece of furniture looks like, the style, the color, the materials it's made from. Or maybe you can even imagine what you might look like resting there, as though you could somehow step out of your body, turn around, and still see yourself there, recalling little things like the expression on your face, the clothing you're wearing. And again, just because you're using your memory or imagination, settling in a bit more. And now bring your attention right inside your body and see if you can locate your center, wherever that seems to be. Once you've found it, just spend some time observing that. Is it deep within your body or closer to the surface? Does it have a size or a shape or a color? Does it feel calm and relaxed in your center, or is there movement, activity? Just observing. and simply because you're observing, relaxing more fully, settling in even more. And just letting your attention rest with your center a little while longer. In a moment, I'm going to begin counting from 10 down to 1. As I'm counting down, without having to do anything special to make it happen, you'll feel yourself entering into a receptive hypnotic state. Start with the idea of wanting it to happen and notice how easily it does. Number 10. Now just bring your attention to your breathing, and as though you've never noticed your breathing before, allow yourself to get fixated by your breath, fascinated by the process of your breathing. Number 9. There's probably hundreds of thousands of breaths that you've taken in your life that you didn't notice, and so almost as though you could make up for the ones that you never noticed, really noticing these ones. Number 8. See if there's anything about your breathing that you've never really paid attention to before. Maybe some subtle sound or movement created by your breathing. Taking some time, number 7, while I'm quiet, to really observe and go searching for anything that you've not noticed about your breathing before. Number 6. I wonder if there's anything that you found. One of my clients was surprised to discover that when she really paid attention, she could hear this little crunchy sound that she'd never heard before. And it took her a little while to figure out that it was the sound of her hair against the back of her chair. As her head slightly moved with her breathing, there was this soft sound that she'd never really paid attention to before. Another one of my clients became fascinated by the fact that she could feel a slight breath against her upper lip when she exhaled. This soft little movement, this soft little sensation that she'd never really observed before. And I wonder, as you pay attention to your breathing, if there's anything new, anything interesting, anything novel, or maybe you've noticed it all before. Maybe you've taken time, number 5, to sit with your breathing, to observe the inhales, the exhales, that little space in between. Maybe there's really nothing new to learn or to observe here. But find something now, number 4, that you can hold your attention on, something to do with your breathing. Maybe it's some new fascinating thing about your breathing you've never observed before, or something you've observed many, many times. But finding a focal point for your attention, and for the remainder of the countdown, see if you can hold your attention there. If your mind wants to wander or drift, number 3, just catch it, collect it in, and gently return it to that focal point, number 3. There's only a few numbers left. And I wonder if you'll make it all the way to number 1 without letting your mind wander or drift. Can you hold your attention fixed there the entire time, number 2? Or maybe your mind has already wandered, already drifted. Maybe it's drifted and you've returned it to your breathing many, many times. But again, it really doesn't matter. People go into hypnosis when they get focused on something. Even the act of finding something about your breathing to focus on and then holding your attention there is enough to make contact with your subconscious mind. Once we're in hypnosis, however, it can be harder to hold our attention in one place for any length of time. And so maybe if your mind is wandering or drifting, it's because you're in a hypnotic state. And number 1. Now, if you'd like to settle in deeper still, just continue to focus on your breathing. The longer you spend focused on your breathing, the deeper into hypnosis you go. Now in this session, we're going to work on improving your sleep, and we're going to tackle it from a few different angles. Much of what I'm going to say to you in this session, I'm sure you already know. But because the subconscious doesn't necessarily know what we know intellectually, I'm saying it for the sake of your deeper mind. You see, the subconscious works by association. If for any reason sleep gets a negative association, it's seen as low priority, unnecessary, or threatening in some way, the subconscious could very well say, let's not do that anymore. Conversely, if the subconscious makes a positive association with staying awake, it may think that it's important for you to avoid sleep. And so much of what I'm going to say is to help your subconscious understand what you understand intellectually, that sleep is important to our physical, mental, and emotional well-being. It is high priority. And when I'm saying these things that you already know, maybe you'd like to encourage them to be taken in on a subconscious level by imagining them being received into your subconscious mind like sand through an hourglass. And so I'm going to be saying some things about sleep. Take them in, knowing that by doing so, your subconscious, which runs the bulk of your behavior, can generate a different outcome. And so sleep is vitally important to our physical, mental, and emotional well-being. As a result of good sleep, physically, we have more energy, more vitality, there's more pep in our step. As a result of good sleep, we tend to be healthier because when we sleep, our immune system can work on things for us. Sleep is also an opportunity to work through the events of our lives. Our subconscious processes things and vents things while we're sleeping. It's what enables us to put our life events into perspective and work through them on those deeper levels of our mind. Mentally, sleep is important for our clarity, our focus. When we're sleeping well, we're more sharp and clear and focused. We feel more on top of it mentally. And of course, sleep also benefits us emotionally. When we sleep well, emotionally we're more balanced, even, more stable. Things roll off us more readily. We're able to handle the challenges or changes in our lives with more ease. And so sleep is important to your physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Now, every now and then, I get a client who on a subconscious level thinks sleep is low priority. There's more important things they could be doing. And so I want to remind your subconscious that it's as a result of sleep that we have the energy, the clarity, the focus, the ability to handle whatever the next day entails. We are things of nature. Things of nature have cycles, like the cycle of the moon, the cycle of the tides, the cycles of the seasons. Human beings have cycles as well. Now, we tend to like the up cycle, the productive cycle, the cycle where we're energized and getting things done. But we need the slower cycle, the downtime as well. Sleep is an opportunity to take a break away from everything else that's going on in your life. It's a welcome reprieve. It's an opportunity to recharge your batteries. It's an opportunity for repairs to occur. It's an opportunity to be more prepared physically, mentally, and emotionally for whatever the next day involves. And so because we are things of nature, we need the downtime. We can't be in the upcycle all the time. We get burnt out. And so sleep is important to your physical, mental, and emotional well-being. As a result of good sleep, you have more energy, more vitality, more pep in your step. As a result of good sleep, emotionally, you're more balanced and even and stable. As a result of good sleep, mentally, you're more sharp, clear, and focused. Sleep is an opportunity to recharge our batteries. It's a reprieve from the rest of the day. And there are other benefits to sleep as well. Now, bear with me. Every now and then, I get a client who believes that there are more important things they should be focusing on. Maybe they're laying in bed at night thinking of all the things coming up the next day, things they need to be prepared for, things they need to plan for. Maybe they're looking for solutions to challenges in their lives. I want to remind your subconscious that these things do not belong in bed with you. Now, when we sleep, our physical body sleeps and our conscious mind sleeps, but the subconscious never sleeps. And your subconscious is your creative mind, your intuitive mind. There are a lot of artists, inventors, musicians who use the sleep state for inspiration. Because your creative, intuitive subconscious mind never sleeps, you can give it tasks to do while you're fast asleep. If there's ever something you want a solution for, if there's a creative project you want inspiration for, if you're looking for answers for something going on in your life, you can turn it over to your subconscious to work on for you while you get a good night's sleep. It's like having a night crew, an evening team that can do the work for you while you're fast asleep. And so you needn't lie there at night thinking about what's coming up or looking for solutions. You can tell your subconscious to work on it for you while you get a good night's sleep. And so sleep is high priority. It's important to your physical, mental, and emotional well-being. We are things of nature, so we need the down cycle in order to prepare for the up cycle. Sleep is an opportunity to have repairs done, to work through the events of our lives, to recharge our batteries. And we can even hand things over to our subconscious mind to work on for us while we're fast asleep. And so your subconscious now understands how crucial sleep is. We've built a positive association with sleep. Now, if there's anything else you want your subconscious to know about how important sleep is, if you'd like to take some more time to build a further positive association, I'm going to be quiet for a little while and allow you an opportunity just privately inside your mind to communicate to your subconscious anything else you want it to know about the importance or necessity of sleep. Taking time to do that now while I'm quiet. And so your subconscious now understands how important sleep is. It now has a more positive association with sleep. I also want to remind your subconscious that it's safe to sleep. Now, when we sleep, again, our conscious mind sleeps and our body sleeps, but the subconscious is ever present. If there's ever something that you need to awaken for, if there was an emergency, for an example, or something you needed to be awakened to deal with, your subconscious could alert you. And so it's safe for you to sleep. And you'll notice that because your subconscious now understands the importance of sleep, the necessity of sleep, sees it as high priority, that you're getting to sleep easily with a calm, quiet mind, a relaxed and comfortable body, able to just put on hold anything incomplete, anything unresolved. These things do not belong in your bed. You'll notice that almost as soon as you get into bed, you just drift off. Your mind is calm and peaceful, your body relaxed. You're getting excellent sleep. Now, I'd like you to imagine something as I'm describing it. Come along with me as well as you can. Because the subconscious is your creative mind, it responds beautifully to imagery and symbolism. And so envision or imagine or think about, whatever way it works for you, what I'm describing. I'd like you to imagine that it's the last bit of your evening, the last 15-20 minutes or so before you turn in for bed. And I want you to adopt a fly-on-the-wall perspective so that you're observing yourself from an outsider's point of view. I want you to imagine that you're observing yourself going through the last bit of your evening routine, whatever it is you do. Maybe you're washing up for the night. Maybe you're locking doors or windows, turning off lights, putting dinner away, things like that. But as you watch yourself, and you can do that while I'm speaking, I want you to imagine that you that you're watching looks sleepy. Maybe they're yawning. Maybe you can tell that they're winding down for bed. Now pause that for a moment. I'd like you to bring to mind in a moment, not quite yet, but after I've given the instructions, a number or couple of numbers that represent the time or the range when you'd like to be getting to bed. Now, some people have a pretty consistent bedtime. They always want to be in bed by a certain time, in which case you might imagine a specific number. Other people, it's more a range. They'd like to be in bed between this time and that time. And so if for you it's more of a range, I'd like you to imagine the two numbers that you would like to go to bed in between. I want you to imagine those numbers as vividly as you can within your mind. Stamp them there and just observe them for a little while. Now I'm asking you to imagine these numbers so that your subconscious is very clear about what time you'd like to turn in. I had a client once who said she wanted to go to bed earlier, and when she came back after our first session, she had indeed gone to bed earlier, but it was about 10 minutes earlier, which was not what she was looking for at all. And so because the subconscious is not the logical part of the mind, it needs very literal instructions. By imagining a specific time or a time frame that you'd like to get to bed by, you're showing your subconscious in language it understands what your bedtime is. And so now imagine that it's that time of night, and you're going through your evening routine, that last little bit of time before you turn in, looking sleepy, looking tired, looking like you're winding down. Now fast forward a little bit. Imagine now that you're standing in the doorway of your bedroom at that time that you prefer to go to bed, and you're looking into your room, just standing there for now. Notice the amount of light or dark or shadow in your room at this time. Notice the layout of the furniture. And then adopting the fly-on-the-wall perspective, imagine that you getting into bed. Now, I don't know if you have a favorite side of the bed, or if there's anything that you do just prior to falling asleep. One of my clients liked to put in earplugs. Another one liked to wear an eye mask. Another one liked to cuddle for a little while with her husband. And so again, from that fly-on-the-wall perspective, if there's anything you like to do just prior to falling asleep, imagine that sleepy you doing it. And then fast forwarding a little bit more. Now I'd like you to imagine from that fly-on-the-wall perspective that you is drifting off. Easily drifting off into a deep, sound, and peaceful sleep. And now, as I'm speaking, imagine that time is passing. Maybe it's represented by the amount of light, dark, or shadow in the room changing. Maybe it's represented by the numbers on a clock turning. But imagine that time is passing, and as it does, that you is sleeping peacefully and soundly. Maybe that you is moving about a little bit, getting more comfortable, maintaining a proper temperature, but through it all, sleeping deeply, soundly, and peacefully. Now, if you're somebody who tends to get up in the night to go to the washroom, you might like to imagine doing that. Play it through where that you is getting up, taking care of business, and then getting right back into bed and easily drifting off to sleep. As you play through what I'm describing, you're showing your subconscious how you want it to be. Now let's fast forward a little bit more. I'd like you this time in your mind to imagine the number or range of numbers that represent when you would like to get up. When is your preferred wake-up time? Once again, imagining it in your mind to show your subconscious what you want it to do. And then imagine that time has come around. Maybe you can recognize the amount of light, dark, or shadow in the room at that time. Maybe you see those numbers on a clock or a watch or a phone nearby. And as that time arrives, that you is waking up. That you looks refreshed and energized. That you looks great. That you has had the perfect amount of sleep. And as I'm speaking, I'm going to give you more suggestions to reinforce this work we're doing. I'd like you to imagine playing through in your mind different scenarios that represent a typical day. And play them through, everything going smoothly and easily because you've had such great sleep. For example, maybe you imagine doing something physical, and you have lots of energy and stamina and vitality because you've slept so well. Or maybe you imagine doing some mental work, and you're focused, your mind is sharp and clear, ideas are flowing, you're in that flow state. Or maybe you're imagining some emotional situation that in the past would have thrown you off, but you're resilient, you're strong, you're letting things roll off you, you feel balanced and even. And so as I continue to give you some suggestions to reinforce this work that we've done, I'd like you to play through various events in your day, a typical day, playing them out the way they will be now that your sleep is so good. And so you're getting to sleep easily with a calm, quiet mind, a relaxed and comfortable body. You're sleeping right through the night unless there's a very good reason to awaken, such as needing to use the washroom. If you awaken for that reason, you easily get back to sleep if it's not quite your wake-up time. You're getting to sleep easily with a calm, quiet mind, a relaxed and comfortable body. You're sleeping right through the night, a deep, sound, and restorative sleep unless there's a very good reason to awaken. You know that sleep is high priority. By getting good sleep, you have the energy, the stamina, the focus to get done whatever needs to get done the next day. You're able to simply put everything on hold, push the pause button, and drift off to sleep. You sleep right through the night, deep, sound, restorative sleep, awakening in the morning at your preferred wake-up time, feeling refreshed and energized and ready to take on your day. You notice how much better you're feeling over the course of the day as a result of good sleep. Your mind is sharp, clear, and focused. Emotionally, you're balanced and stable. You're handling whatever shows up in your life with absolute ease. And your subconscious now has a positive association with sleeping. It knows what you want it to do. And you'll notice that you are observing a remarkable and lasting improvement when it comes to your sleep. Now, in a moment, I'm going to count from 1 up to 5. As I count up, you'll feel yourself returning to normal waking awareness. Mind waking up, body waking up, feeling better than before. When I say 5, you can open your eyes, refreshed, alert, awake, and aware, ready to take on whatever else you've got on the go for the remainder of the day. Number 1, getting a great sleep tonight. While you sleep, your subconscious can continue to process and integrate these suggestions so that they're even easier to follow. Number 2, feeling yourself returning now. Number 3, mind waking up, body waking up, feeling better than before. Number 4, awake, alert, and aware. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Number 5,